What's up, beautiful people? Hello, hello, hello. This is your boy TW Suggs, sending you all types of mad love and dope vibes. Welcome to the Tommy Show. Keep your hand right on that dial. We have an awesome show for you. Today's show is about conversations with black producers. There is a unique perspective. There is unique energy. There's unique ideas and inspiration that they all produce. Some of the unique challenges and also the unique victories that these black producers that they have and that they share. But before we do that, I have to give my shout outs to P3 Christian Radio, whoop, whoop. Also to my homie and my friend, our producer, Keith Pelzer, and also a shout out to the Culture Crew, Bashir Hogue, and everybody else that's on the team. Love you all. Thank you so much for the collaboration. We appreciate you. Now, before we hop into these interviews, and folks, I'm trying to tell you, we have an awesome lineup. Before I hop into that, let me just give you the names. We have Ira Warren. Woo! She's actually in the house with us today, so we're going to hear from her, the awesome woman of God. We have Taronda Jones. I'm sure you heard that name before, just like you heard of Ira's. Keith Pelzer, and we also have Kyle Godwin. All right, but before we hop into these interviews, I asked you all a question on my social media. And I asked you, what is the best cereal that's out there? What is the absolute best cereal that's out there? And when I tell you that my timeline, that my inbox, that the comments flooded in, thank you all for the love and for the support. I'm going to give a few of you some shout outs. Trev Williams said Reese's or Golden Grams. I love Golden Grams. I haven't tried Reese's yet. I am going to try that soon. My homie Priscilla Bowens, she said Frosted Flakes. A lot of you love Frosted Flakes. Everybody was on I see Ira and Mr. Warren shaking their head. Yeah, Frosted Flakes. I have Gina Johnson saying Honeycombs, a blast from the past. Tavia Baker said Frosted Flakes. Tezra Wilkins, Captain Crunch. Curtis Word, my big bro, said Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I had Dr. Kenny Williams, who got bougie on me, who said Strawberry Frosted Flakes. Haven't tried that yet. Lisa Little's Frosted Flakes. And I had my big sis, Roslyn Denise Gibson, who said Frosted Flakes. And I had an interesting conversation with her via social media. I said, yeah, Frosted Flakes with a whole bunch of cold milk. She said, no, bro. She said, just with a sprinkle of milk, and she said, I may cut up a banana over it. I said, okay, a lot of milk, a sprinkle, you keep it, I love it. Hey, whatever glazes your donut. I have Antoinette67 who said Fruit Loops, and Kellogg's has a brand of cereal that has vanilla and walnuts in it. It sounds amazing. I gotta try that. And my homie, Christian Tabron, I met Christian at a John Graves production. His lovely wife, Eva Tabron, I love you both, very anointed couple. He put me on to Raisin Bran Crunch. I haven't tried that yet, so I'm going to try that very soon. And my homie Chanel Moba mentioned Cookie Crisp. And I don't know about you, but we couldn't always afford the name brand stuff. We couldn't get the Cocoa Puffs. We had to get like Cocoa Comets. We couldn't get Fruit Loops. We had to get Fruity-O's. But you know what? Hey, we made it work. We made it work in that black household. And here's another thing that I want to do that I asked you all to do. I said, send me some names of people who have birthdays in March. And you all showed up once again. So let's go and give these birthday shout outs. Angela Daniels has a birthday on March the 23rd. Woo woo, wishing you a very, very, very happy birthday, Angela. Alicia Smith said that she wants to wish her Aunt Helen Green a happy birthday, whose birthday is on March the 4th. And we also have some celebrity birthdays. Shaquille O'Neal is in March the 6th. We have Mariah Carey, Queen Latifah, Joel Osteen, Carlton Pearson, all of these March babies. And the biggest celebrity of them all, my grandmother, Delcia of Fanshawe, March the 1st. She's the lady who got me involved in all the production and plays and music and all that stuff. So happy birthday to all of our March babies. I love you all. Wishing you many more years of prosperity, blessing, God's favor on your life, your household, your children, and your family's life. All right. So now, without much further ado, let's hop into this interview. Ira Warren. Come on, folks. Let's send it some good vibes and some dope energy. Woo! How are you feeling, my friend?
I am feeling amazing.
Good. Thank you so much for coming into the studio.
Oh, no problem.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you. And you said you're feeling good today?
Yes, I am. I'm feeling amazing.
Okay,
Amazing.
okay. That's good. Now, before we hop in, I had to tell the folks all this awesomeness that you're doing. All right, but actually, not just you, because you know what, you're married to Mr. Warren, and it's like a dream team, like the Wonder Twins Power Activate. Y'all just support each other, and it was funny because before we even started the interview, it was interesting to see the energy between you two.
Mhm.
You know, like you complete each other's sentences. You know, y'all all kind of had that same mindset. Like, yeah, we're doing this over here, and then he hops in and is like, yeah, but we're doing this over here too, and it just all works together.
Mhm.
So let me tell you about Ira Warren. This is a renowned songwriter, producer, clothing designer, pastor, actress, author, and the founder of the nonprofit Divine Minds 215. Oh my gosh. Did you know that all of that stuff was in you when you were younger?
I did.
You did?
Because I come from a huge family.
Okay.
My mom, her dad had 8 brothers, and they all played over 27 instruments.
Woo!
And so just to see all of those wonderful things, go on in my family. We had preachers, pastors, apostles, evangelists. So our family was, cultivated like richly in the church.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
So,
So also you're used to like that background of skills. And so you had that before you, right in front of you.
Yeah, it was right in front of me.
Wow. What was that like growing up in like a musical household like that?
Well, at first, my parents, I'll say my dad, he was sort of like on the fence about it. He was just like, well, you have a voice, you'll be good enough for a background singer. And I'm just like, well, okay,
Thank you for the encouragement, Dad.
I said, I'll follow and then lead right on into, what God has, created me to do. But music and, different things of that nature just, came into play for me because of trauma and different things that I had gone through, in my life. So when you hear, the old Negro spiritual hymns and stuff, it come from some pain, it come from some hurt, it come from, just different things like that, so I just remember recording my first song and it came from pain.
What was your first song that you recorded?
My first song that I recorded, it was called I Wonder Do You Know Him? Ooh. And it was, just talking about God and who he is and, was back then, to me. And it was just more so I just knew God through grandparents.
Wow.
Not necessarily not having a relationship myself. So I just kind of like hung on to the coattail or the coat jacket of, grandparents and uncles and aunts. And so, if they shot by he, I said, well, okay, I guess I'll shot by he. If they say Roko Bo Shai, I said, oh, okay, I'll Roko Bo Shai. So it wasn't authentic. It wasn't a real intimate relationship.
Wow.
So even though I was going through pain, it was also being duplicated and shown to suppress it as well.
Wow.
So it wasn't until I moved to Texas because I was born in Gary, Indiana.
Okay.
So it wasn't until I moved to Texas in 1982 that, I really just began to find out who Ira really was. I was a little girl, but then I was still going through, just a lot of different pains, but I didn't know how God was going to birth all of the pain that I had gone through into music and poetry, then.
Wow.
So.
Wow. It's interesting that you made the connection. And I promise you I'm going to get to these questions, but while you were speaking, it's interesting that you made the connection between pain and hardship and the hymns that we all grew up on, and also the pain that you've experienced and the trauma that you've experienced and how it connects to the art that you birthed. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that? Because I think that there may be somebody who's listening who's like, God, why? This doesn't make sense. Why so much? But I don't know if they've made the connection that what they're going through right now may be pushing something out of them that they don't even know is inside of them. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, most definitely. What I would say, to that is, you think that, why would I want to sing about trauma? Why would I want to expose, because that was the name of the album eventually, that was birthed. Why would I want to expose child molestation?
Yeah.
Why would I want to talk about, being beaten and sleeping with Kenny Boo and his friend too? Why would I want to sing about fornication?
Yeah.
Why would I want to sing about being raped by a pastor? Why would I want to sing about those things?
It happens.
And
oh my
it happens.
goodness.
And it happens. And so when the album, came out, the album Exposed, came out, people was like, oh my God, you singing words like I used to be a fiend to the sex scene, lust running through my veins like morphine, still itching with desire for him to inject me, erectly subject me to death from sin. Like, why would you sing that? Why would you sing that in a church?
Wow.
And so, and I said, because this is what we experience. This is the core of, my pain and what I went through. And it was through the arts that I was able to, express that, even when, my mom and dad felt like, you exposing the whole family secrets. It's like, what goes on in this house, stay in this house. And, but then eventually, as the album got out there, and then, God just started sending people, James Fortune and Fire, like everybody in the community just began to embrace us and say, you know what, that's needed. So now people are saying, okay, what you were singing in the early 2000s, they say, Ira, you need to bring that back out.
Come on.
You need to talk about it now. Because now, it's I'm not saying anything against anyone and what they produce and what they say as far as just music. And I said it's just not it's not reaching the core. It's not getting to the bone marrow of people anymore. So now it's just, I don't know, it's just a mixture of things, even that I saw in recording and then traveling with different people and stuff like that. So Kurt Carr was a real person that just, hung in there with us and
Shout
stuff.
out to Kurt Carr.
And then Kurt Carr and Yolanda Adams and Tone. I mean, we opened up for them and stuff like that. We opened up for Floetry as well.
Nice.
So at the Chocolate Bayou Festival in Houston.
Come on.
So it was just our words and what we said. That said, you know what, I can identify with that. But so now I'm doing it in a different way. So if someone say, hey, Ira, can you come and do some poetry? And it's talking about those things in a way where I'm still exposing myself. Because it's just like, how does one, really know who they are in Christ? I'm exposing myself.
Right.
When Jesus died on the cross, he exposed his whole entire self. He took on the sins of the world. He took on my sins,
Yes, ma'am.
And so, that's the thing. I want people to be able to express themselves in arts, whether it's poetry. Because you're really looking at a woman that didn't learn how to read until I was 26 years old.
Wow.
Because of trauma. So I would write words in code and what I could understand.
Got you.
So I'm just saying, if you go back to the days of slavery and the way that they braided their hair, that was like the road to Damascus, I'm going here.
Come on.
So, and it was just how they, coded things and wrote things. So I went through those things. I went through, like I said, the beatings and different things of that nature when I was a child. And I questioned, God, why me? Why me?
Wow.
And I said, and it was a point where I said I wanted to even name the album Considered. Because I was like, the only person I know in the Bible that was considered was Job.
Wow.
Because he had gone through so much. I've lost children to domestic violence. I was stabbed over 12 times.
Wow.
I had a child by my dad at 16.
Wow.
So I went through so just a lot of different things. And then it just caused me to birth a lot of the music and in plays as well. Doing a lot of stage plays as well as helped me to get to that point, of healing and expressing myself in a true, authentic way.
You know what? This is so good. Oh my goodness. We can go in so many different directions. So first of all, one of the things that I definitely heard was the power of vulnerability, right? Where Jesus exposed himself, and as a result, we expose ourselves. We become vulnerable as well. Because he says he's seeking worshipers who worship in spirit and in truth.
That's
right? That truth, that vulnerability, that spirit, our innermost being. I also think that it's so interesting that you had a lot of people. Can you talk about this? Because I think this ties back into the production part and also ties into where you are as a creative. You had churches who did not want to have you on their platform, or may have even kicked you out because of your art and because of how you produce and because of your creativity. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yes. I'll never forget it. We was in Studewood. This is like, one of the hood places in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And we were invited to this church and they was having like this youth explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's funny that you quoted the scripture, not funny, but John 4:24, they that worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. And that was the name of the group, Spirit and Truth.
Hey.
And I remember when they called us to the stage, and then my partner at the time, she said, Ira, I think you ought to do counterfeit preachers. And I was just like, I don't know, because it was just a part of me. I was still a growing, child of God. And I was still, so I still had some fear there. And so God said, well, if I gave it to you, then you will do it.
Come on.
And then I remember, just going into a counterfeit preachers, deceiving the minds of men, creating false delusions deep within their souls, causing them to bark like dogs and roll around on the floor. And then when I got into it, I remember this pastor walking on stage and he grabbed my shirt.
What?
He grabbed my shirt and he was like, you will get out of my church.
What?
I don't know who you talking to. And it was so crazy because this very pastor, he was like a big name. I won't mention the name, in the community and everything. And, he was molesting the children in the church and stuff like that, so it was just a day I'll never forget. Because then it was almost like the enemy was just saying, I'm going to snatch you out of this. I don't want you.
And I'm going to close your mouth.
You are never going to another church. You are never going to another church. And so I was just like, okay, God is not giving me the spirit of fear, but love, power, and a sound mind.
Scripture.
And I was just like, okay. 1 Timothy 1:7. I'm going to walk in this thing no matter what. And I'm not saying this to be biased or seem like I'm racist or anything, and that's not what I'm trying to do. But the Caucasian churches that invited us, they accepted every word that we said.
Wow.
Every word that we said. Every word that we said. And they saying, you know what? How can we say that these things are not going on? When Paul was talking about it in the church, he was talking about sexual immorality. He was talking about all those things in the church. He said, so how can we turn our backs on you and say this is not of God?
Right.
It is of God.
Right.
These are the things that we're experiencing right now.
Right.
So we got a lot of backlash, and I to be honest, I think that's why we kind of just
kind of fell back.
We kind of fell back a little bit because the support from the church wasn't there.
Got you.
And now I understand I don't need the support of physical bodies when the spirit is in me. Now I understand.
Yes, ma'am.
So now if God bring that thing, because my manager, she's a she's a radio personality in Houston.
Yeah.
And she said, listen here, girl, it's time for you to get back on out there. God is opening doors.
Yeah.
And how he's going to do it is going to be very strategic.
So
when Bashir inboxed me, and I was thinking, Bashir, I ain't done nothing in years. Like, I don't even know why.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what, Ira, God said so.
Come on.
That's how that happened.
And you know what? We're getting ready to come to a close. We got like 1 minute and 30 seconds. But listen, I know that God does all things well.
Right.
And that it was not by coincidence that you were on this show today. We all needed to hear what you shared with us. Let me tell you something. The impact that you have is going to go so far. Where you are right now, you've been kind of in the corner. God is getting ready to put spotlight back on you. He's pulling you back up out the shadow. There is a message that you have, especially for women. I don't know what it is, especially for women, but there is a message that you have, especially for women. And there is a message that your husband has, especially for young men, that he is going to minister. And even as he ministers it, God is going to continue to bring even more healing for the family. So I appreciate you all. I love you all. Listen, Ira, where can people find you, sis? sis?
Y'all can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Ira Warren's, plain and simple as that. So yeah, there's where you can find me.
Thank y'all so much. I love y'all both so much. Please come again. We're going to have you back in the studio, okay?
Okay.
Thank y'all so much. Everybody, please send some dope vibes where you are in your car for Ira Williams and Ira Warren, sorry, and Mr. Warren as well. Thank y'all so much. It's TW Suggs. All right, beautiful people. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us. I have with me my new big sis, Taronda Jones, actress, director, producer, rapper from the hit show Empire, the lady with endless bars. First of all, you people normally say that they're rappers and stuff like that, or that they're rap artists. I like saying rap artists, not rappers. And I'm like, all right, cool. Until I went ahead and did some digging. Yo, Taronda got bars for days. It's like she is a completely different person when she's spitting bars. So everybody, where you are right now, just go ahead and send some dope vibes and so much love to Taronda Jones. Oh, and the crowd goes wild. What's up, sis? How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Yo, you are shining so brightly through this screen. It's not just the smile. It's just everything about you. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I really appreciate you.
No, thank you for having me, man. Anytime.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, let's hop on in this, right? So you're an actress, director, producer, and so much more. Is that what you always knew was inside of you? All of those things, or are those things that you kind of stumbled into and were like, oh, I didn't know I could do this? Or did you already kind of know that this is where you were headed and these are the gifts and skills that you always had?
I knew that I was going to be some form, shape of entertainer. I just didn't know.
Got
Rapping has always been my thing. I've been doing that since I was 11, 12 years old.
Wow.
But acting, directing, producing is just literally something I stumbled across. Literally something I've been, I like to call it dibbling, dabbling in.
Yeah.
I was dibbling, dabbling, and I was like, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this. Let me just go ahead and pursue this. But no, I just knew that I was going to be some form, shape, or entertainer, whether it was a stripper.
Oh, it's entertainment. It's entertainment.
I just knew I was going to be something. I just didn't know what. But
yeah,
no, I love it, though. I love it.
Wow. That's awesome. So do you think there's a connection between like dibbling and dabbling and finding your purpose?
Absolutely. And there's two things, and I had this conversation with my cousin where she's kind of lost, but I told her there's a difference between knowing your gifts and knowing your talents. It's two different things.
Come on, talk to us. Talk to us about the difference.
God will literally, he will give you gifts,
and
your gifts is what take you to your purpose.
Yes, ma'am.
But talents, you can just have them. You can be great at I'm great at a lot of things.
Wow.
I'm amazing at a lot of things, but what is my gift?
Wow.
And I realized that none of my gifts are none of the things that I do. It's none of the things that I do. It's literally none of those things that I do. Acting, directing, producing, rapping. Those aren't my gifts.
Wow.
I know this. And I'm slowly leaning into my gifts.
Yeah.
I truly believe that my calling is literally speaking. My gifts are not directing, producing, rapping. My gift is literally to pour into the people. I call myself the hope giver.
Come on.
The hope giver.
Wow.
Those are none of my gifts. Those are my talents. Great at it. It's lucrative.
Yeah.
But I honestly believe that speaking is my
gift.
Yeah.
Come on. And you know what? I can definitely see that for you, because every time we talk, it's like I always feel life. I always feel hope. I always feel strength just radiating from, without you even saying anything. You are an entire vibe and an entire presence when you just show up in the room. So I definitely appreciate you about that. One of the things that I was wondering, do you think that with what you were saying about the difference between gifts and talents, and then we'll hop into the questions that I have for you. But it almost seems like some people will get stuck in the talent because it's lucrative and never really tap into their gift, which, from what you're sharing, ultimately leads you to your destiny and leads you to purpose. So you have people who are making money and maybe even famous, but talk to me about that.
There will never be longevity in the things that you find lucrative if it is not your gift. As long as you are following your purpose, as
Are
long
y'all
as you
listening?
are doing your purpose. No, this real spill.
Wow.
This is real spill. Unless I call it. Not that I want to finesse you, God. I would never do that. But if I'm using my talents and I'm using my platform to place my gift on those platforms, I don't know.
Wow.
I might be able to get away with it.
Wow.
If I do it the right way. If I do it the way he's telling me to do it.
Okay.
But if you're going after your talents because you want to, this is money though. And God is telling you, no. I just told you, silly tail self. I just told you. This is where you're supposed to be going. Yeah. And sometimes when you end up going left, you would never make it to your right. You would never get it right. Because you keep trying to go left.
Yeah.
So following, yes, going after your talents, that's great. But will there be any longevity in it? Probably not.
Wow.
Probably not.
Wow. Sheesh. Thank you. Like, Pelzer hates the word nuggets. Cause but you are dropping some. What do you want to call them, gems?
She's spitting bars.
Yo, she's spitting bars. That's what it is. Bars of life. Yo, you don't get nuggets. You get bars.
We can't stand. They say, "Oh, he's dropping gems and nuggets." I'm like, she's dropping it. Like, give it a different term.
Yo,
make something up, y'all. Make something up today. I don't know.
Sis, thank you for that. Let me shift gears real quick. So, you are a phenomenal Black woman who is also a producer, who's also a creative. What are some of the unique challenges that you encounter as a Black female in the business of entertainment that other people, whether because I'm a man or because somebody may not be a person of color, what are some of the unique challenges that you experience and that you face, and how do you navigate through those?
Well, the one challenge in itself, I'm a Black female.
Yeah.
I'm a Black woman.
Anything else? Anything else to be said about that?
All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. All I want to say is that the unique challenge in itself is that I am a Black female.
Yes, ma'am.
And the terrible thing about that is I have to roar. I have to roar louder to get my point across.
Okay.
And they already deemed us as the angry Black woman or the aggressive Black woman. Yeah. But when you're in this industry, in order to get my point across, or in order to sell anything, or in order to get somebody to see my vision, I have to roar. Yeah. And I'm trying to tap into my divine femininity. I don't want to be out here. I don't want to do that. So that's one unique challenge in itself. Okay. And the other unique challenge is just simply being rejected. Wow. You know, when you're a first time producer, or when you're a first time anything, and if you're not a Kerry Washington or Regina King or Taraji P. Henson, who has longevity in the game where they can pitch something and it easily sell. Yeah. But by me, I played the roles that I played, so they can't take me out that box. Wow. Until I sit down and have to. Because sometimes, in Hollywood, sometimes they only see you as a character. They don't look at us like we're actually human. Wow. And because I've played this one character for 7 years, everybody's just looking at me like I'm really green in real life. And I'm like, no, I know stuff. Yeah. I know a lot. Yeah. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. Yeah, I know stuff. So that's one of the challenges, is just being rejected, and also just being a Black woman and having to use my voice in a way that sometimes I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to be aggressive in order to pitch things, or in order to get my point across. Yeah. For I want to. Oh God. Oh, I wish we made this longer. We got time. So there is. I got 4 hours before I can cook this gumbo, man. Oh man, is there a difference between? Because I got like 3 more minutes with you. Is there a difference between, or talk to us about the difference between the roar and the angry Black woman?
because people usually see just because a woman elevated her voice or a woman is making a point that they're one and the same, and they're not. So what is the difference between the roar and the angry black woman?
Well, with the angry black woman, and honestly, both of them, they're not any different. And I want you to hear me out. They're not any different.
Okay.
See, women who come from where I come from, or women
Mm-hmm.
who grew up in the environment that I grew up in, 9 times out of 10, I've always had to roar to get my
Yeah.
point across. Or
Yeah.
I've always had to be uber aggressive or hyper aggressive, so that I wouldn't be taken advantage of. See, you
Yeah.
got young women who grew up in homes of molestation. You got young women who may have grew up in homes where they saw domestic violence on a
Yeah.
day-to-day basis. And I grew up I'm from the city of Chicago. So
Mm-hmm.
if you didn't have a hard exterior, 9 times out of 10, you'd be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
So 9 times out of 10, when my hard exterior is on, it's not because I want to be this way. I had to be this way.
Got you.
I have to be this way.
Yeah.
And even in this industry, I have to be this way.
Wow.
It's sad to say, but I
Yeah.
have to be this way. So you got producers, and thank God we do have people like the Ava DuVernays, the Octavia Spencers, the Kerry Washingtons, who are now producing, directing, who are making a way for young women who look like me. Well, we don't have to roar as much, because I like to call them the Harriet Tubmans
Come
of the
on.
industry, where
Come
they're
on.
literally paving the way.
Wow.
Right? They're literally opening the doors, and then they're making sure that they go back, reach back, and like, yo,
Wow.
come with me. I'm about to show you the game. I'm about to
Wow.
show you the way. And that's what I love about these women who are breaking into Hollywood. Kelly Park, she's
Yeah.
she's a friend of mine who I've been getting to know recently, and now she got her whole show coming out on CBS. Like, man, listen. There's no
Sheesh.
difference between an angry black woman and a black woman who's roaring, because at the end of the day, we still got to get our point across.
Yes, ma'am.
We're still fighting as black women. We're still fighting to be heard. And that was a point in time where we couldn't even vote.
Yep.
Black women in general, we
Come
couldn't
on.
even vote.
Come on.
We couldn't even be in the same room as men. We couldn't
Yeah.
even be in the same space as men. So
Yeah.
now that we've been roaring for so long, we've been using our voices for so long, and honestly, I don't want it to stop.
Yeah.
I don't mind roaring. Sometimes I don't want to do
Hey.
it, but I don't mind doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't mind doing it from time to time. Now, when I'm tired, I'm gonna be like,
That's the hint. Yes, indeed. Wow. Taronda, thank you so much. Even just that, oh gosh, the fact that you connected Harriet Tubman to entertainment. Oh, yo, my mind is exploding. That's crazy.
So you got the people like Kevin Hart. He got his Heartbeat production.
Yeah.
And even when you look at people like Adam Sandler, right?
Yeah.
I like to consider him one of us. He's invited.
I love Adam Sandler. I love Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler, when you watch Adam Sandler's movies, Adam Sandler's got his same people.
Yeah.
He always uses the same people. That is literally him being a Malcolm X. I'm going to take my people with me.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart, same way. I'm going to
Yeah.
take my people with me.
Yeah.
So the Ava DuVernays, the Oprahs, the whoever's doing whatever for these women, men and women, and reaching back and showing us the way and giving us the keys to the doors so that we can continue to open more doors and bring other folks through the doors. Because, like, to be honest, the kids are the future. We are the future. We next in line.
Come on. Come on. Wow. Taronda, thank you so much, yo.
Anytime.
You are so dope. Before we leave out, is there anything that you want to say? Is there any upcoming projects that you want us to keep an eye out for? If you're allowed to drop it.
I have a movie that just dropped in Sundance. It's called Young, Wild, Free. That's with Sanaa Lathan, Algie Smith. I just dropped another film on BET Plus. It's called My Valentine's Crush.
Come on.
I'm also directing my first feature film, my first movie. I'm going to be directing sometime next month. And I also have, you and I spoke privately, but I have another show that I cannot talk about. I will not talk about because I need my job.
Come on.
It's super dope. It is super dope.
Yes.
And as far as anything I want to say, I just want a lot of people to ask yourself, it's not about where you're going, but where you're growing.
Yeah.
Where you growing? See, a lot of times we so focused on trying to get ahead, and we're so focused on trying to run this race, and we're looking at everybody who looks like they're so far ahead while we're
Hmm.
left behind. But it's not about where you're going. It's
Yeah.
about where you're gonna finish.
Yeah.
You're gonna finish.
Yeah.
No guarantee, but it doesn't matter if you come first, second, third, last, you're gonna finish.
Yeah.
Where you growing?
Yeah.
You see the book of Galatians, the great prophet Lauren Hill said, how you gonna win when you ain't right within?
Come on.
So where you growing?
Yeah.
How are you growing mentally? How are you growing spiritually? How are you growing physically?
Yeah. Wow.
It's not about where you're going, but where you growing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the incomparable one and only Taronda Jones. Sis, thank you so much. We love you here on the Tommy Talk Show. Thank you so much. All right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for staying tuned. We've had some awesome interviews, and we're having another one right now. Again, our conversation or the topic for today is a conversation with Black producers. And I have the one and only producer and Emmy Award winner, the man with cool, the man with swag, Mr. Fedora himself, Kyle Godwin. Come on, people, send him some dope vibes and love. Woo, 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 woo.
Hey, nah, bro, I appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Oh, man, it's
Sure.
my honor. How you feeling today, brother?
Oh man, I'm good, man. I'm thankful, bro. I'm grateful, man. We here, yo, and we get a chance to, hear some other inspiring, stories and conversations from some amazing people, man. So
Yes, sir.
come on, man. I had to tap in.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. So first of all, you all may not be able to see Kyle just yet until we download this stuff on YouTube, but for the podcast. But this jacket that my guy got on right now, like this junk, it says "Get Lifted." It's like an army fatigue type situation with like paint splat. Yo, if you ever go on this man's page, it is like just like straight up fashion, like streetwear, like just gentleman quality, bro. You stay bringing it.
Hey man, I appreciate that, bro. Like, seriously, yo, shout out, yo. This is a brand, yo. You wouldn't even believe it, bro. The brand itself, I found it like a little swap meet, man. You know what I mean? And I was like, it's really, just to jump right into it, right?
Yes, sir.
So just to bring you full circle, because you got fashion sense yourself, bro. I ain't real recognize real. So I peeped as well. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
sir.
The thing is, it's about having the eye. You know what I mean? Having the eye to identify the right things. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's just, they say, trash in one man's hand is treasure in another's.
Yes,
right?
sir.
And so, like, if somebody was like, this is nothing to me, kind of, get rid of it. And, the guy who I met, he kind of designed it a little himself and kind of upped it. Listen, man, I was like, that got potential, bro. The thing is, fashion, you can do it multiple ways. You know what I mean? Switch it up, dress it up nice, rock it with a little, hoodie, whatever, man. But, listen, so you got the eye too, brother. So, having the ability to identify good things is a great ability.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh man, that's dope. Let me ask you a question in reference to having an eye to identify good things. How do you take that and tie it into who you are as a creative and who you are as a producer?
So the thing that allows me to really tie in my eye and vision, first of all, I gotta give God praise, you know what I mean? And
Come
glory
on.
for the ability to see through things when, people don't necessarily see it. So,
Wow.
I might, the glass half empty, half full situation is a realistic, prism. And so, for me, when sometimes it's like you give me a crumb and I'll make a cake. It's something as small as just a little bit of an idea, or that little bit of a seed can grow into something great. So, sometimes, recognizing it through, somebody's voice. Some people just have amazing, shout out to my man Toby and my man CJ Quinney and them down in the A in Houston.
Yes, sir.
Toby is one of the people, when I first heard his voice for the first time, was like, nah, you got something good with him, bro.
Yeah.
Make sure he's a good artist, right? Like, the voice, right? That's being identified. Sometimes it's the look. right?
Yeah.
The person has the look on camera. They might not have all the technicalities and the abilities that you want them to have, but you can mold that, right? You can teach that. You can give them inspiration and show them how to grow that. So when it comes to, identifying new areas of creativity and new content, for me, I'm somebody who, was told, don't reinvent the wheel, right? Like just add a new spoke to it, right? So people always are going to have problems, and naturally as men, we try and be problem solution solvers.
Yeah.
So trying to look at, okay, if you got this problem, I got this problem, what can I create or what can I come up with that will allow us to alleviate that problem together? And that's my serial entrepreneurialism, where like it just happens to be that I can do it in content, but whether that's clothing, whether that's music, whether that's art, expression is the best way to be able to get that vision out. And sometimes, God only give you that vision for a short period of time. So if you don't act on it, if you don't use it, then it's going to swing to somebody else. You know what I mean? How many times have we seen people look like, Dad, that was my idea. I come up with it first.
Wow.
Time and time again, me and my wife talk about that. Like it ain't just yours. You know what I mean? And so like he gave it to you at a time, and that time is, is the reason why it's a gift. You know what I mean? It's I can't even claim this is mine, bro. But I heard this probably a couple of weeks ago, and I had to incorporate it.
Yeah.
My man said, when the phone ring, you got to know when to answer. That's why it's called a calling, right? You miss it, right? You miss the idea. You miss the opportunity.
Yeah.
How many times somebody call you and you was like, dang, I would just ran to the shower. I always keep my phone in my pocket, but I had to go wash my hands. I had to go heat the food up real quick. Missed the call, right? That 30 seconds, 15 seconds may be everything.
Wow.
Right? So from ideas to opportunities to networking, don't look at it, as a opportunity that doesn't allow you to, get ahead, take advantage. Don't look at it like that. Look at it as a way of, hey, listen, this may be the only time I see it ever again.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Taking it for granted. Don't do that.
Yeah.
So that's without going on a long soliloquy of an answer, that's probably, my philosophy around applying my vision to content and, things that I do.
Bro. Yo. You just dropped a ton in this studio, bro. Listeners, did y'all hear everything? Your vision, the dreams that God give you, they're portals. They have short time spans. You got to move on it. You got to be ready for opportunity. You have to be ready to execute. One thing that you said, bro, is that you take a crumb and you make a cake. Where in the world? Bro, that's crazy. Let me ask you a question. Cause I know you in New York and you making some moves out there. Let me ask you a question. What you mentioned that having an eye or seeing things that other people cannot, especially as a creative and as a producer. Has there been a time where, I guess the best way I could say it is that where you saw something or that you envisioned something that other people, especially as a producer, that other people didn't necessarily gravitate to? And the stack that I'm going to add on top of that is because you were a black man.
So the best example I could use, because the ideas that I've been, blessed and credited with awards aren't original ideas, right? So the 30 for 30 series that I was blessed to be a part of, starting, in the bottom of my, in the beginning of my career, right? So the idea, it wasn't my thought, right? So I can't take credit for it, but what I could see in it was that even being on the ground of it, people didn't understand what it was, right? What is this documentary series, 30 years of content for, like, what is it? Are we going to do these stories, this, and that? Okay, nobody, people ain't really watching documentaries like that. That's going, okay, and then maybe 7 of them kind of, release over time. And these are people inside the building and outside the building, right?
Yeah.
It's not just an external thing. And so, with that said, it took a couple, 10, 15 films for people to really catch on that this was a monumental shift. We were lucky enough to be awarded with, the Peabody Award early on. So that was a early recognition. Then later on with Emmys and WEBBYs and things of that nature. So it kind of gave the credibility to it. And then it really changed the landscape of, how storytelling went. from there, 30 for 30 is a iconic name. So much so that when I just seen my man Nas last night, he's got a song on his latest King's Disease called 30. 30 for 30 doing numbers, right?
Yeah.
30 for he been doing it for 30 summers. My highlights doing 30. That means that was something inside the building that even people internally, sometimes that's your own family members, right? They don't see the vision, right? They don't see the whole big picture, and that's inside the building working with you side by side. And then it takes some proof. It takes some, consistency for people to see that, wait, this is a solid thing. It doesn't matter what he looks like. The product is undeniable, right? So much so that it becomes a term in the lexicon that when people turn 30, the thing they say, yo, give me a 30 for 30.
Sheesh.
So I can't take credit for it, but I saw the steps and growth being and witnessed in the testimony of it. You know what I mean? And I saw the same thing when I decided to start my own production company and be an entrepreneur and try and talk to my own family members and explain to them, what I wanted to do. And, the gauntlet of questions, and not just for my own safety and security, but sometimes out of the fear of the unknown, some people don't have as big of a faith because that isn't for them, right? And so trying to explain it, sometimes it don't come out in a way that's explainable or understandable or digestible. So for them to be able to see it, it takes you to prepare the meal instead of just giving them the recipe. They got to see the meal prepared. They got to see it plated. They got to taste it. They got to know. They got to smell it. Like, nah, this is undeniable, good quality food. Why would I ever? You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And listen, as simple as such that, I'm definitely a Bible quoter, where I can, man. And
come on, man.
Vision, you know what I mean? God gives those who have eyes sight and those who have ears to the ability to hear,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Everybody, that don't mean everybody born blind, right? That don't mean everybody born that they can't hear, they deaf, right? That means that people are born with sight and with hearing, but they still don't see it. They're not going to see it. So it's already written that that's the case. But you tap in, know who he is, get a relationship with your creator and your maker, understand your purpose and what he got placed for you, right? Everything and every place that I've ever been was never me dictated that I was going to be there. It was never go find one of my friends from elementary school and tell them that I said I was going to be here. Go tell them that I was going to do that wouldn't have been the case. I would have told you I'm playing basketball in the NBA like every other young black or minority individual growing up in the city, man. So like understand and know that everything that's given to you ain't for no reason, but it ain't gonna be easy either. Because if it was too easy, every other person would be there getting it. You know what I mean? So, understand that. But for sure, brother, that's essentially where I catch the visions. You know what I mean?
Let me find this offering pan. Hold on, Keith. Where'd you put the offering? Where'd you put this offering pan?
Trustee, standing up here.
Where'd you put this?
Come around to the table.
Offering pan. That's all. Yo, bro. Yo, you were dropping bars. Thank you. You are dropping bars, man. Listening, Nuggets, hashtag Nuggets. Yo, anybody, I know y'all are benefiting from this. Every listener who is listening to this, whether you are male, female, boy, girl, man, whatever, this stuff that is being dropped, I know for me, I am taking a crumb and making a cake. That John hit me like a Lincoln. Bro, thank you so much. Listen, I want to be mindful of your time, and I want you to get back to doing what you was doing in New York. We're going to have you back on this show. So, you stuck with the Tommy Talk Show. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. You just stuck with us.
He got to come up here
good.
And sit at the table.
Yeah, you got to come and sit at the table, brother. You got to come and sit at the table with some coffee and whatnot. Let me ask you, so is there any products that's coming up that you want to talk about, or are there any final words that you want to go ahead and give?
So project wise, I got a couple of things just kind of under the table, so I won't necessarily divulge in that.
Yes,
but just in terms of words of inspiration, man, just to leave some of the people with, it's tough out here. You know what I mean? Especially in this time, in this climate. There's a lot of industries that are folding. There's a lot of lanes that are being merged and construction going over with detours that we don't know the routes. What I would say is, don't give up faith. You know what I mean? Do not hang your head low with the ideas and think that it's, not good enough. I will say that I've been a victim of perfection over in my lifetime of, you know, trying to think that what I release has to be perfect. It has to be, and that's not my job, right? My job isn't to make it perfect. You know, God is perfect, right? So don't worry about that. Keep putting steps forward. And, you know, and that growth in that process is really what's going to define you and really make you. So, you know, having the ability to stay steadfast, it's the reason why that mustard seed is the smallest seed and why it can grow so great, because if it's all it takes. And at the same token, it's very important to know that a seed of doubt is just as difficult to get rid of. That seed of doubt is really hard because it'll grow too. If you water it with the wrong thoughts, if you water it with negativity, with the wrong abilities that do not affect you, comparing yourself will be the thief of that. You know what I mean? And it's stated. So, you know, if everybody's walking in the right direction, like in the airport, if y'all all going in one direction, you know, at some point y'all getting on the same flight. Some people going to stop, keep walking with the people going your way, and eventually be a, you know, conversate, you know, have a conversation with them, have an ability to join and give them something, to offer them something, and you never know in return, you know, what may be given to you, and your future might be, you know, even greater. Yo, you love a cheerful giver, so you know, I mean, give your time, give your efforts, give your love, you know, give everything. So.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it yourself, the one and only Kyle Godwin. Send your love and send your thank you and your support. Kyle, thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on the Tommy Talk Show. Again, we love you here, man. We definitely have to have you back. Safe travels back home from New York, bro. And thank you again, man. We're going to check you out later, okay, bro?
Yes, sir, man. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. That's our show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed our guests. This is my first show, so hopefully, you know, show me some love. You can definitely find me on Instagram and Facebook at twsuggs.com. And you can also check out the website at www.twsuggs.com. We are recording in the Combos Lounge. And don't forget that we are a part of the P3 Christian radio station in collaboration with The Culture. I love you all. See you all again soon. Peace out.